Alright guys, welcome once again to another dose of the creative diet. It's the Apex Mind here, and today we're going to be recreating or creating a text effect in Coreldraw. This is what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be creating this glitch effect in Coreldraw. We'll be showing you how to make this to create this envelope effect on this text. Alright, so without wasting any time, let's get down into it. Today I'm going to be doing this effect using Coreldraw 2020 version 2020. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type the text I want to use. Okay, and the font I'm going to use for this is Beber's New, and I'll make it bold. Make sure I select bold. Okay, it's already on bold. I'll just increase that by dragging the corner by the corners of the text. Notice that when I put my cursor at the edge here, the arrow changes to a double-sided arrow, so that when it changes to double-sided arrow, I can drag it, without distorting the text. All right, all sides of the text are in correct proportions. Just take Ctrl K, the shortcut version, to break apart the text so that I can apply the text effect to this first. All right, so with that done, I'm going to come here. Now for other versions of Coreldraw, like earlier versions of Coreldraw, the envelope tool will be found nested under not under the transparency tool, but under this drop shadow tool. All right, so but here in this version is nested under the transparency tool. So I'm going to come here and select my envelope. And when I get my envelope tool, I'm just going to tweak this text. You see, it automatically creates a wrap around this text here. All right, the four corners of the text, there's a wrapping around it. You see, with different nodes. This node here, there's a node here, there's a node at the middle here, there's a node at this corner. So I'm just going to adjust the nodes, and you see what will happen to the text as I adjust them. All right, so I just want to give this a kind of like a tweaked feel. Right, just want to give it this feel that it's wobbling. Okay, wobbling effect, a wobbling text effect. Okay, to come here and just drag on these node handles. All right, all right, this, for those of you who will not know, this is just a Nigerian slang. All right, just a Nigerian slang. Nigerian slang that means that sometimes can be interpreted as surplus. All right, now I'm going to replicate this text effect I just did on this text here. And the way I'm going to do that is that I'm going to come here to this attributes eyedropper tool. All right, this attributes eyedropper tool, and I'll click on the attributes eyedropper tool, and I'll come up here, and under this effects panel, I'll make sure that my envelope tool is selected or active or is checked. All right, with the envelope tool checked, I'll come here and then I'll click. All right, I clicked on the place where I want to copy the envelope, from, and then copy the attribute. You see that now. All right, so with the attributes copied, I'm going to type then go collect. All right, and I'll select Magic Pi font. So I want the text to be adjusted equally on all sides. So I'll hold down my shift key while the cursor is at the corner of the text, and then I'll just drag, right? Alright, so I would select this first, come to align and distribute, and then I'll select align center horizontally. Alright, because I want this to be equal. Okay, properly centered rather. Okay, so I'll highlight everything by clicking and dragging over my whole objects in the design, and then I'll align center horizontally once again. All right, so now my text is properly centered, and then I'm going to still copy this envelope effect here on this text. So I'll come back again to my attributes eyedropper tool. I'll click on the place where I want to copy the effect from, and then come back to my text and apply it. Okay, now we see here that applying this text here has changed the text. All right, I intentionally did that so you can see what may happen if you are trying to replicate the same effect on a different font. Now I do not want my font to change, so I'm going to Ctrl Z, and then I'll come back here. I'll come here, take my pick tool first. I'll come to my menu bar here, which is the bottom. Go to more, come to objects, and then I'll take copy effects. Now in other versions of Coreldraw, this is my tab here. My tab is different from the earlier versions. Earlier versions of Coreldraw, the objects menu will be somewhere between the effects and bitmap. All right, but mine is at the bottom here. So with copy effect selected, I'll come with this arrow. While this arrow is active, I'll come and I'll click here. You see it replicates the effect without changing the font. So I'm just going to adjust this a bit, zoom in a bit, adjust this. I'm zooming in because I'm using a mouse. I'm zooming in by moving the scroll button up. All right, if I move the scroll button down, the scroll button on my mouse, and I move it down to zoom out. If I move it in, to zoom in. All right, or you can click on Z on the keyboard to activate the zoom tool so that you can zoom in. All right, and click on Z on the keyboard to activate your zoom tool, and then click to zoom in, or right click to zoom out. Okay, so I'm just going to reduce this a bit. I'm holding my shift key, remember, to reduce the text evenly. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that. All right, so now I'll come to my align and distribute and center my text. Okay, so now with that done, I'm going to group everything by taking Ctrl G on the keyboard, or I can do this Okay, I can do this by right clicking and then taking group, and then to centralize it to the page I'll press P on my keyboard. Alright, so I'll come again with that. To centralize everything after grouping the objects, I press P on my keyboard to centralize my objects highlighted to the middle of the page. Alright, now with that done, I'm going to ungroup by taking Ctrl U on my keyboard, or I'll right click and select ungroup. Alright, so now next I'm going to do is I'm going to select or highlight this these two texts to the two texts here, and then I'll group it. For sake of speed, I'm just going to take Ctrl G on my keyboard to group both texts together, and then I'll make a copy of this by taking Ctrl C on my keyboard. I'll create a new page, paste it here, and then I'm going to move further to create the glitch effect. Alright, so how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take my rectangle tool and I'm just going to create or draw some rectangles over the text. I'm going to make sure that as I'm drawing this, the rectangles rather are being created in varying sizes or varying widths. Okay, now I would take Ctrl C, Ctrl V, zoom and move it down, then adjust the size. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, move it down again and adjust the size. My snap tool objects, my snap tool is still, snap tool object is active, so that's why you can see those guidelines or lines active there. Alright, so I'm just going to do this so that you know adjust this a bit. The rectangle is looking too big. Okay, almost done with this. Okay, all right, so just okay, so now we have our rectangles, right? So I'm going to group this, and the way I selected, I made a multi-selection. All right, a multiple selection is that I first of all selected the rectangles at the bottom of the text here by clicking and dragging over them, but then to select these other ones on this side, the upper side of the text, I held down my shift key and then I click and drag only those ones that are remaining for me to add to the selection. So it has automatically selected and added those rectangles to the selection at the bottom. All right, so now that both of them are selected, that the rectangles are selected, I'm going to group this text together group these rectangles together, sorry, and then make a copy of this, and then by taking Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and then I'll draw this down to the bottom. I think to make this more interesting, I'm going to reflect this rectangles here that I've selected or drawn across this text. I'm going to reverse them. Right, I'm going to flip it. So I'm going to come up here and take mirror vertically. So I just flip this from top to bottom. All right, so now with this done, I'm going to come here and then I'll take intersect. All right, making sure that my rectangles are on top of the text. Click on the text and then select intersect. All right, let me do that again with both the rectangle and the text selected. Okay, make sure that both are selected. If both are not selected, you will not be able to, these shaping options will not be active. All right, so and the way to make sure that the rectangles and the text are selected is that you click on the rectangles which are above the text layer, and then holding down your shift key, you click on the text. All right, so both are now selected and active. So I'll come here and take intersect. All right, now with that done, I'll also come here and do the same thing. Hold down my shift key, click on the text at the bottom and take intersect. All right, good. So now with that done, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out these rectangles at the top by taking Ctrl X, and then I'll click on the portions that the intersection was created, right? And if you look now, you'll be able to see some little nodes at the corners here where the intersected shape was created. Now to make this more visible, I'm just going to give it a new color, and then you see this now that has been created here, all right, through the intersection of the rectangles on top of the text effect. So now I'm going to click and drag this to one corner first. Okay, you click and I'm going to click and drag this to the side. Now as I'm clicking and dragging, I'm making sure that the object, the intersected object I'm dragging is on the same line by holding my Control key, right? Because if I just drag it like that, it may not be on the same path. All right, so to make sure that I'm moving it's on the same path, I'm holding my Control key. Sorry, I clicked and dragged and held my Control key down to move it. All right, first of all, click the object before holding your Control key. All right, let me do that again so you can see. You click first and then hold your Control. You click first and hold your Control key. All right, you do it simultaneously. All right, so do it simultaneously, all right, at the same time. All right, so now I'm going to paste back with Ctrl V the rectangle select that I used, and then I'll click on the text at the bottom, which is underneath the rectangles, and then I'll take trim. All right, so now I can ungroup this, and then I'll delete some portions. I'm going to delete some portions of the rectangles. Okay, so now, just so that I can have a feel, there's something I want to create right now. I'm just going to take copy this particular rectangle and then reduce it like so, paste it back again and reduce it like so. Right, I'll make a copy of this by taking Ctrl+C, reduce it this way. Just make this, need to still delete this, delete this. Alright, just need to do something. Then the rest of this I will just delete. I think I'll need this one. Let me delete this. Okay. So now I'll do same here. Taking Ctrl+X to cut out this, move this to the side, Ctrl+V to paste it back, then I'll trim this. Alright, so now see, now I just pasted this back in position, but then I'll move this slightly to the top of the text. So what I just did, I don't think I would even need this anymore, so I'll delete these. Now see what I just did, I just positioned the intersected part of the text, moving it to the top. Alright, so here I'm going to do the same thing, holding down my Control key to make sure that the selection moves smoothly, and then I'll just slightly move this up. Alright, I'll just move it down a bit. Okay. Yeah, I think that will do. Then I'll change the color back to black. Okay, so now with everything selected, I'm going to ungroup everything by clicking this on group objects icon at the top of the menu bar here. Then I'll highlight all my objects, come here to the shipping option and select weld. Alright, so now what weld does is that it makes all the objects to come together. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now I'm going to slightly position this a little bit towards bottom, pushing it down a bit, and then come back So now change this to black, select, make sure you highlight the whole object, then I'll come here and take weld. Okay, so what weld does is that it mixes or it unifies all the objects together. Alright, so now we have the unified object. Alright, so now I'm going to make a copy of this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, then I'll change the color of the one on the top layer to blue. Alright, so now with that done, I'm going to change the order. Okay, like going to objects, to the objects menu, and then you see order here. I'll take to back of page. Okay, and then when it goes to the back of page, I'll adjust the positioning a bit to my right. Okay, now with that done, I'll come click on the layer at the top, which is the black layer. Again, in Coreldraw there's an object layer panel where you can see your layers. Like you can see here, when I click on the objects panel here, if your objects panel is not visible, you can come to window dockers, right? Come to window and dockers, and then you see it here, objects. All right, it shows you layers just the way Photoshop shows you layers. All right, so you see here objects. Make sure your objects are selected or checked. So if your objects docker is selected or checked, you see it on the right side of your Coreldraw window. All right, you see it here. So I can see on page 2. On page 2, I can see that the curves, you know, this black object that's on the top layer here is active, right? So that's the one, that's the layer at the top. All right, so now I'm going to make a copy of this, and then with Ctrl+C and then Ctrl+V to paste it. So I can come here and apply a different color to this. Now after that, you see I've just moved it slightly to the right hand side. Okay, now after doing that, I'm going to come to my menu here and then come to objects and move this to the bottom, send to back of page. Okay, so you see that now. However, I think I need to still adjust this, so I'm going to click on the pink layer or pink glitch effect and just tweak it a bit to the right. Okay, good. I think I'm satisfied with this now. So now with this done, I'll click on the black and then I'll change the color to white. Or first of all, before changing the color to white, let me change the background layer to black. Now I just created, let me create this again to automatically place a rectangle on the page. All right, to create a rectangle that fits your page, just double click on the rectangle tool. When you double click on the rectangle tool, to automatically create a background shape that fits your page. Right, so with that done, I'm going to click here to fill the background color with white. Right, so I'll highlight everything here, change this to I'll highlight everything to remove the outline, or click the shape here and give it white. Okay, so you see it's beginning to come together gradually. All right, it's beginning to come together gradually. All right, so now next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a blur on this. All right, so I'll click first on this pink side, Ctrl+C to make a copy, Ctrl+V to paste it on top, and then convert it to bitmap by coming to the bitmaps option on the menu bar and then convert to bitmap. Okay, after converting that to bitmap, I'll come to effects and then go to blur and select Gaussian blur, and see what happens when I select Gaussian blur. Right, it blurs out the edges. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that. All right, so now next what I'm going to do is that I'll change my blend mode of this shadow. So I'll come to the position of this envelope tool icon, go to transparency. Like I said in earlier versions, the transparency tool is in a separate position. All right, you'll be able to see it very easily on the left side of your toolbar. All right, so come here and then with the transparency icon tool selected, I'm going to come to this place here, normal, where these blend modes are, and then I'll change this to sail, which will be sufficient. Okay, I think I prefer add for this. I'll change this. Let me see how color dodge looks. No, I want it to be very visible, so I'll click add. All right, now with add selected, I would move this to the bottom. Okay, the shortcut for placing, for arranging the order of the order of objects. All right, in Coreldraw, you can take control when you hold your control key and press page down. Okay, you see it's automatically moving that Gaussian blur layer to the bottom. All right, moving it to the bottom. So I can take another way to do it, like I did before, is to come to your objects, panel here, and take order and go to back of layer. Right, see it automatically went down to the bottom. But then to move it up, you can still come here, make sure that layer is active, make sure it's that layer that you are adjusting. All right, you come here to more, and then to objects, and then to order, and then forward one to move it a bit forward, because this black layer is supposed to be the last layer at the back. Okay, or another way to adjust it, you see here this pink is showing the bitmap image. So if I should click on it and move it up, you see it begins to move up. You're seeing that now, it begins to move up, just like it will move when it's in Photoshop, just the way you do in Photoshop. So I want it to rest just before, in front of this rectangle there, so I can come here and just drag it down, just the way you do in Photoshop. That's one way of changing layer orders in Coreldraw. All right, so we've done that. So next we're going to do the blue. All right, so Ctrl C to copy that, and then Ctrl V. I'm going to convert this to bitmap again. Once that is done, change the blend mode once again to add. Okay, there's something we've not done yet. We've not made this not blurred it. All right, we've not converted it to, we've not made it not apply the Gaussian blur effect. So come here and take Gaussian blur. You see it's already, the preset is already set to the last details we applied with the Gaussian blur. Alright, so now with that done, you come back to the transparency tool and then change the blend mode to add. Okay, so now we have this glitch effect. All right, so now we have this glitch effect. So once again, change the layer order. All right, change the layer order. Move this bitmap slightly to bottom here, just behind the blue curve. All right, now there's something I want us to do. I want to just blur this edges a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to first convert it to blue. Convert this blue, the blue curves. All right, the blue glitch part that is not yet converted to bitmap. First of all, I want to just make the edges a little bit blurry. Alright, so now I'll convert it to bitmap. Okay, after doing that, I'll go to effects and I'll go to blur, Gaussian blur. Now it's a bit too much, so I'll reduce this. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that. Click OK. Alright. So that done. Just change layer order. With that done, I'm going to come now to this, going now to my object manager tab. I'm clicking on the curves, the remaining one that is a curve, just the purple glitch that is a curve. Clicking on that, and then I'll convert it again to bitmap. After converting it to bitmap, I'll apply rather blur effects. Right, also apply a blur effect on this. Alright, so now we have our effects. Let's see how this will look at the top. So if you should place this glitch effect now at the top, you see it makes it not so readable, so it has to be at the bottom, right? So you see how it looks. Okay, so now we have our glitch effect completely done. All right, so now I can come here, copy the top, then we'll collect, paste it here, and then change the text to white. So there you have it, our design is done. So this is how to perform a glitch text effect in Coreldraw.